In the heart of downtown Boston, thousands of people walk past the numerous historic churches scattered across Copley and Back Bay every day. One church in particular, Emmanuel Church, is home to a hidden library that generally goes unnoticed. Don't go looking for books, however. This library exists for the sole reason of sharing puppets.
My name's Sara Peattie, and I'm a puppeteer.
Peattie is the co-founder of the Free Puppet Library, where anyone can check out puppets for free and even volunteer to make puppets.
It's a big collection of puppets that have been made for various pageants and parades, pageants at Lincoln Center, or the first night parade in Boston, things like that. And then they're here, so we lend them out to schools and events and demonstrations and people to run around the park. So it's a regular library. People borrow them, sign them out, return them.
Peattie doesn't only spend her time making large puppets, though. She has worked as a puppeteer for most of her life, including with world-famous puppet groups.
I was apprenticed to Peter Schumann when I was must have been 16, who was the head of Bread and Puppet Theater. Is a famous, I would say well-known giant puppet theater. They do big circuses up there in Vermont still. And he's a pre-war vintage German, very Germanic, who does giant, very serious puppets.
Eventually, Peattie made her way to Boston, where she started the Puppet Library, although she says puppets have existed at Emmanuel long before she got there.
I don't even know who was originally here. And they passed it from one puppeteer to another, and I ended up here in the end, for now. It'll probably pass on to some other puppeteers.
And that loose organizing still persists today. Peattie is the only constant member around the library, with members always coming and going.
Yeah, it's very loose. If you do a show with us, you're part of the Puppeteers Cooperative, so people frequently join it without noticing it, which it doesn't hurt them, I guess.
And while people from all walks of life come to rent and make puppets for celebrations and demonstrations, the library also gives back to Emmanuel Church.
Yeah, I lend puppets to their services. They do, usually under reasonable circumstances, a big Easter parade where the people in Emmanuel do the parade. I do a big mobile of giant flowers at Easter that hangs in the church. They have a lot of airspace. But it's interesting in a way because we don't have any written or even spoken agreement. We're just here. We give them money when we have money. They seem okay with that. They come down. They don't help make puppets a lot. They're more they're not the goopy type, but but they're always interested to see what's going on. You know, they like to know. It's like having, I don't know, armadillos in the cellar or something. It's something, that always surprises people.
Beyond creating puppets, what Peattie really loves doing is putting on impromptu performances at the Boston Garden. On summer weekends during the day, and even at night, you might spot Peattie performing to anyone curious enough to approach her.
Right outside the end of this place is on an alley, and right outside the end of the alley is the Boston Public Garden, which is a very Victorian, very civilized garden, which seems very open to people performing there. People sing, people play music. I do various characters. I do a giant mouse, Ms. Mouse with an art emporium. I sometimes go out there at night and read to a fish, or I'm Mother Nature tending to bees. There's a bit of Moby Dick involved in some of it. A lot of sea-themed stuff because it's Boston and we're on the sea. People are sort of looking for amusement. So it's not private space, but it's also not like completely uncared for space. The Friends of the Public Garden seem to be a very particular set of people who have, I'm not sure what their ideas are, but they clearly have very clear ideas about what they want. I like being out with people, and I like being in the outdoors, and I like performing, and I can't spend my life in a cellar.
When Peattie is in her cellar, it's to make puppets. And her recipe for puppet making is simple.
A lot of paper mache, some planning, some deep thought, and a bunch of coffee.